Hey my lovelies, it's been ages since I recorded a hair video. This video nearly took me out, but I'm so glad I managed to get it done. So I'm starting out on blow dried hair. To be fair, I'm not gonna lie, it's not freshly washed, but we move. And I'm dividing my hair into 3 sections. So 2 on the side, 1 in the middle, kind of going from the arch of my eyebrow down to the back. Then once you've done that, you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So just parting it down. You can also go through with your edge control and straighten out the part as well. But I'm just taking my time and dividing it into 3 sections. And this is going to be the foundation of all of the sections for the style. So once you've divided into 3 sections, you're going to start off and do kind of like a C shape, going like towards the front of your hair and then round to the back. And then I like to do like a twist cane row just to get everything out of the way so that I can see my sections clearly, so that I can make sure that all of my sections are divided evenly as well. So as you're going to see in a bit, I've got like 1 section going to the left, another one to the right, and then 1 down the middle. And then you're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Use your edge control to mold the hair in the direction that you want it to go. And this is just going to help your braid to look more seamless, more neat, and it's going to help it to last longer as well. Ensure that you're starting off with small pieces of hair so that it matches your hair, and then gradually increase the size. Looking back on the video, I actually didn't need to use so much hair. Although I did want them to be on the bigger side, I think towards the back they could have been a bit smaller, because as you'll see, I'm struggling to fit all of these braids in the back. But I made it work anyway. So when you're doing yours, if you decide to repeat this style, just try and keep the hair a bit smaller towards the back. And when I do my braids, I don't really plait all the way through to the ends. I wait until I've finished all of the braids, and then I can make sure everything's the same length and the same thickness, and I can do it as long as I want at that point. So this is what that side is looking like. You can see I've got 1 going to the left, 1 going to the right, and then a small one down the middle. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really gripping my hair super tight, so don't do that. I haven't done cane rows in my hair for a while, so I was really conscious of making sure that it's nice and neat and making sure that it was secure, but I really didn't need to be grabbing my follicles like that. So don't do that. So at this point, I'm just making sure that my parts are nice and neat, and you're gonna see that I'm basically checking to see if these 2 braids on the right are equal, and I can see that one of them is significantly skinnier than the other. So this is the good thing about doing your sections before you start doing your braids, because you're able to see if everything is even and if everything is neat. So I'm just going to take some of the hair from the section on the far right and basically give it to the other side. So I've used my edge control just to help my comb to glide down smoothly, help me to get a sharp part, and then I can section that bit away and get started with the cane row. With these small inside braids, because there's not as much hair as the other ones, you want to add bigger pieces of hair earlier than you would for the braids that kind of swoop round. so that they can match in thickness, because you don't want to have a really chunky braid next to a small braid, because it's going to look funny on your head. It's going to look like you've kind of got like a hump on your head and then it goes back down. So you want to try and add bigger pieces for the smaller braids, if that makes sense, so that everything can match, and try and keep your strands the same size as each braid. So like I said, I don't braid all the way down to the ends at this point. I'm really just trying to get the braid over and done with and just make sure that everything looks nice and neat. I went ahead and I done the other swoop, so you can decide which side your swoop goes. I just felt like my head suited that side, so that's what I done. And then you'll see, because I kind of went in with my braids, I didn't do them straight back, so I'm left with this V shape. So what I'm gonna do is like a kind of snake design where it goes from left to right, and then straight down the middle. So I parted horizontal lines to be able to do this. And with this one, because it is a lot of hair going into one braid, you want to make sure that the strands of hair you're keeping them the same size, because you don't want it to increase too much, because you already have all of your hair in this braid. So I'm trying to keep it small but still get it to match the braids that are on either side. And when you're doing this S shape, you want to make sure that you're going to each corner. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to capture this as clearly as I wanted to, but you want to really like braid all the way to the end before you start braiding in the opposite direction. And that's going to help to have a defined shape so that it's not kind of just merging into one and looking like a wonky braid. And then when I get to the part that's about the same size as the braids either side, I just braid all the way down. And the hair at this point is really skinny, so I'm kind of fighting for space for my fingers to even braid this. But there are a few strands there, so just do your best to pick them up and to get everything kind of squeezed in. Like I said, if I hadn't done the braids so thick at the back, this would have been a bit easier. And if I had made my braids go straighter down as opposed to kind of in towards the middle, that would have been better. But I'm working on not being a perfectionist, so here we are. This is the end result. I'm actually really happy with it. It took longer than I thought it would, but I think sometimes when you do the bigger braids, you have to work on your symmetry a lot more. And I'm just going to go ahead and dip the ends, try and get as high up as you can with the braids. Don't burn yourself. I nearly burned myself. Don't let that be you. And for this, I just put all the braids to one side, but you could also separate it and do it in twos and do one side and then do the other. But I just pushed it all to one side, dipped the ends, dried it off with my towel, and then you're gonna see the end result. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.